Welcome to the Nehemiah Entrepreneurship Community Podcast, the Business Life Cycle Podcast. My name is Patrice Tsague. I'm your host. I'm here today with two good friends of mine, actually my colleagues. I'm here today with, they're also pastors. Wow, they're also pastors. So I'm here with first Gabriel and Yoli Abak. Gabriel and Yoli Abak are pastors of the Hispanic Church at Manor House. They're entrepreneurs. They're the founders of Can Do Construction, now a part of SOS Can Do. They also serve on the SOS national team and executive team. And they understand a thing or two about the impact of immigration on people in general, particularly the Hispanic community. Gabriel, Yoli, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having us, Patrice.
And by the way, they're also part of the couples in business here at Nehemiah and the Couples in Business Life Group. We enjoy once a year. My favorite time of the year is December, when we all get away somewhere nice, somewhere warm, and just hang out and kick our foot up and do some business, but also play.
That's right.
Love it. Thank you so much, guys. And then how many children do you guys have, by the way?
We have three young
kids.
adults.
Three young adults. One is married, right?
That's correct.
One is married. The other thing, fun fact about you. So I think I heard you say this, Gabriel. Couples in business are cheaper than therapy. So
that's correct.
That's coming about that. I'm going to share with you the next couple of business retreat. We also have with us Pastor Jeff. Pastor Jeff is, and by the way, let me say this. Gabriel and Yolanda are originally from Guatemala. And you guys have been in the U.S. for how many years?
26. We're going with the year. Like 20.
Oh,
yeah,
I love
26.
it. I love it. And then Pastor Jeff Colombo is, I'm sorry, Pastor Gabriel and Yolanda are based in Portland, Oregon. And Pastor Jeff Colombo is from Congo. And Pastor, how long have you been in the United States?
12 years now.
12 years.
Mhm.
And so they've been in the United States for 12. He's been for 12 years, and he's also an entrepreneur. He's one of the associate pastor of a church in Seattle, Washington. He's an entrepreneur. He's the CEO of SOS Congo, one of our sister companies in the Congo, and he's also a business trainer and coach with the Nehemiah Community, and he also lead the CDC, the Community Development Corporation, for his local church that he actually helped to found. And how many children do you have, Pastor? He's also married.
Yes, we are married 22 years ago now, and God bless us with 5 wonderful children.
My Lord, he has a basketball team, 5 children. Congratulations.
Yeah.
He has a daughter
Thank you.
that's a dynamo. Well, guys,
Yes.
welcome to the podcast.
Thank you,
This is
Patrice.
a different topic here for us typically. Today, we're going to talk about addressing the immigration crisis in America. I've asked my cat here, Shadow, I'm working. My cat doesn't care, right, what's happening. That's the problem with working, doing this from home. I got a cat who keeps getting in the way. All right, so there's been an immigration. As immigrants, I'm also an immigrant, still enough. I was born in Cameroon, Central Africa. I came to the United States when I was 11 years old. So it's been about 40 years since I've been in America, actually 41 years. So I've been here for a long time. America is a country of immigrants. We all know that. However, America, at a certain point in America's history, it began to have what they called an immigration crisis, right? And it probably really began to kind of jump up in the 2000s, right? You didn't hear about immigration crisis, for sure not in the 80s, not in the 70s, right? Not even in the 90s much, right? It was in the year 2000, the 2000s, that you kind of begin to hear about immigration crisis, right? I remember when George Bush the second, GW, became president, and that's when you kind of begin to hear about that. Now, it doesn't mean that it didn't exist before; it was, but it wasn't as prevalent. So I would say in the 90s to now is when we kind of begin to hear about this term, immigration crisis, because historically, immigration was viewed as not a crisis, but a gift to America. The policy in America had always been pro-immigration, and by the immigration, lowering down the bar, it was the country with the most generous and the most affirmative immigration policy. And that has brought to America's innovation, America business, America's work culture. I mean, lots, from the European immigrants all the way to the Hispanic immigrants, and of course, the African immigrants, even though the early Africans didn't come here by choice, they came here by force through slavery. But beyond slavery, many Africans, beginning in the 50s and 60s, begin to come here by choice as Africans started to immigrate here, probably even in the 40s. However, in the last several decades, this idea of migration crisis, and the idea of migration crisis, for simple definition, layman definition, is just saying that America reached a point where there was a prevalent amount of undocumented immigrants or immigrants that were not legal, right? That's really the heart. I mean, so when you say immigration crisis, dealing with illegal immigrants who are more and more in America, creating, whether it's social system crisis. In some cases, some would say creating, crisis in terms of security. In some cases, some would say creating other kind of crisis. So that's and every president have always attempted to, how do we address this immigration crisis? And the Trump administration took it very head on, right? And there's evidence that somehow it has worked. The numbers of illegal immigrants have gone significantly down. The number of those coming in have gone significantly down. On that front, it has worked. But it's also created its own challenges in terms of legal immigrants feeling scared and afraid, and in some cases, even feeling unsafe in terms of their lives being at stake for some of the taxes that have been employed. So you have this double-edged sword. Now, why is Nehemiah discussing this? Because many of our members, entrepreneurs, are immigrants. And many of our members and leaders serve immigrant communities, and there's two of them here, right? Gabriel and Yoli are entrepreneurs. They're immigrants. They have employees that are immigrants. They are pastors of a predominantly Hispanic church, a church of immigrants, right? Pastor Jeff Colombo is an immigrant. He's a immigrant entrepreneur. And he's also pastors a church that are predominantly immigrants. So they have faced the plus and minus of this dynamic. So what we said in Nehemiah is, okay, let's have a conversation about this so that we can equip our members as to, first, how should we process this from an attitude perspective? We are a political organization. We're not into one party or the other, but we're just addressing our biblical positioning and how we as Christian and entrepreneurs should be navigating this as we see that it is affecting us as well. So with that, having laid that framework, I want to kind of give perspective to our listeners. I want to start with you, Gabriel and Yoli, about kind of in your work, in what you do, whether in ministry or business, how, your interaction with immigrants, how do you interact with them on a regular basis? And so people can get a context of your day-to-day.
Okay.
Yep, sure.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, like you said, like you mentioned on the beginning, we're serving as pastors in the ministry of Manor House. So we have many, of course, Hispanic people come over to congregate with us. And we have been seeing that the attendance have been being shorted out because of the reason that many start getting afraid to go out. So they have a sample of family that used to come, and then they stopped going because we talked with the wife, and the husband said, no, we just gonna go out the minimum to go out to the street. So even to go to Sunday to the service, they decided don't go because of that, because the fear that they felt. Even they're in the process, they even they have papers in the process to become be permanent resident in this country, but still the fear is up there because, and then you hear what is happening, and then even our kids, because the ICE start getting those um, grab people that look Hispanic. That's the thing. They look Hispanic, and even they don't check. They are residents. They are citizens, and they took them because they have a quote to the day. Even we had to instruct our kids, and because they're scared, Dad, I don't want to go to school. What's going on? Well, they start going to ICE. They start going to the school. So, and then I had to talk to our kids as well, not just people that we Hispanic people that we had relations with, our kids, and instructing. Okay, if they caught you, don't fight. Just be okay, and then until they find out that you are citizens, you're gonna be okay. So in the process to be that, like, okay, you're thinking about the trauma our kids are gonna be captured, go to prison until they find out and I said, you're gonna be probably 1-2 days over there, but we get you. No, don't worry about it. We can get out of there. But also that, so it's not that the congregation, our kids, that they got exposed to, some might happen, we pray God that doesn't, but it's not just the congregation, it's our kids start feeling that and give the instructions for what might happen,
For work, we have seen people that even if they are afraid, work is a must, right? They have to pay bills and they will go to work, but they will come back fast back home and avoid going to grocery shopping because it's more imminent that they could be a victim of all this that is happening. So definitely fear has paralyzed a lot of the families that we have contact with. So it hits very close to home for us.
That's correct.
So, in a sense, what you're saying is that whether at church or in business, you interact with lots of immigrants, and you've noticed an increased level of fear, and whether they were legal or illegal, it doesn't matter because they were just Hispanic, giving kind of what kind of was happening. All right, Pastor Jim, what about you?
Yeah, I think I will go to the same way. We are a church. We have 95, I can say 98% of people. They come to the church. They are immigrants. Usually come from Congo, and other one come from Angola. And when they come here, like you say, they come with the American dream. And most of them also, they already have a trauma because some of them, they come from the road and they go through a lot problem. And when they come here, they have the expectation they will have a peace. But when they come here with what's happened with the new administration, they found out they have again fear because they feel like they are not welcome. So this is the big issue we have actually in the church and the community, because we don't serve just people come from the church, but we serve also, like you mentioned, we lead the CDC, is that organization we create that to help immigrant people. And we face with this problem because most of them, they don't have enough money or enough income to pay the lawyer, because actually every immigrant, special who they need the paper, because most of them, they are not residents, they are not citizens, so they have undocumented people, and they're looking for, they are asylum seeker. So This is another thing with us, and then we try to help them to have access to the lawyer. Sometimes they don't have money we need, and they don't have also work permit, and they they apply for work permit, but with the new system, it takes time. So all this pressure is not easy. You need to figure out how to support them with food. That's why to CDC we have a food distribution service. We try, and especially cultural foods. So we're looking to have all resources we can have to give them the food, the resources, access to different resources. So, but at the same time, we try also to train them in the business, because we have some of them, they are business mindset. So with the Nehemiah program, we try to coach them to see how they can create their own business, for who they have documents. And yes, is that we try to do actually. So the pressure is very big, because we have education program. We try to educate them, and we have also I can say the program for healing. I can say health education. So with the situation, actually, we try just to give them access to different resources, and also to give them the updates, to give the whole community different updates, because they think everything, every time the laws change and they have new updates, we try just to give them different information. It can help them to feel a little bit better, because we don't have a power to give them some assurance to say, hey, everything will be good. But we try just to give them advice how they can do if they are maybe ice it come in front of them, how they can react, how they can communicate. They can, I can say, have somewhere. If you have a child, someone can help you. If you have maybe, because the problem is actually you can have, they have, I can say, appointments, like say in the immigration. But when they go there, they don't know what's happened. So everything can happen to them. So we try just to keep them safe, or to keep the family safe. If something happened, you have somewhere you can already give some advice if something happened. So we just try to give them the advice and information updates that can help the community. Yeah, so that you're doing actually.
So, Pastor Jeff, in your description, you talked about the fact that a lot of those that you do deal with in your church and your community are
Yes,
undocumented.
yes.
So, what about those who said those are exactly the kind of people that we're looking for to address, because that's part of the problem? What would you say to that? Because the people you're working with are the people that they're looking for, because they are undocumented. Uh, what do you say to that point?
Okay. So first of all, they are already here. The problem is not easy for us to say, so someone need to come in, because we don't have the control anyway. We just found out they are here already. That's the
Yeah.
point.
Okay.
So
As a
yes.
community, they're already here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those they are already here, we can just explain them exactly how the law is here. They need to know how the law is here, because they have undocumented people, and we need to connect them with the lawyer to know exactly, because the case is different. We have people with different cases, so we just try to find to explain them how the law is, how the new administration work, because every administration have the vision they have. So actually, we try just to give them the law how is and how they can be.
We lost Pastor Jeff. While waiting Pastor Jeff's come back, Pastor Gabriel and Pastor Yoli, what about that? Because Pastor Jeff is bringing the point that their organization is trying to help those who are undocumented to understand the legal rights and so forth. But on the other side, the very people that the administration has issues with are the undocumented, that they're trying to make sure that they do exercise the consequences of being here
Voilà.
legally.
Attends.
What's your thoughts there?
Let's go now.
We'll
Uh,
come back to you, Pastor.
Excuse me, Patrice.
Yeah, we'll come
Yeah.
back to you. Yeah, Yoli, go ahead.
okay, yeah. So it is a very complicated case because, yes, we are a service within an American church. So we got together and we put all the resources that were available for our communities. So we gave them what it's called a red card when they know what their rights are, and they can be remain silent, not signing anything until they have a lawyer. We have given them places to find lawyers as well. Uh, we had the chance also to work with a nonprofit who had um, lawyers who notarize documents so parents can protect their kids. So that is in case I've been apprehended by ICE. I want to make sure that my kids will have someone who's going to take care of them and not coming into the system of DHS, that they will take custody of my kids. So you help them to see the options that are available. But the part that, for at least for us, has been the most important is to make sure that in their heart they know that God is bigger than anything and has a purpose for them.
Exactly.
Because we want to help them to lower the fear, even though, like Pastor Jeff was saying, it's complicated because there are implications. If you are here not in the right way that the government wants, yeah, it is a double sword thing, so it's not easy. But we have to cater for them as well in their faith, help them to see that God is bigger than any precedent, than any law. We do have to follow the laws,
Exactly.
but we try to help them avoid being bombarded by all the news that are just making them more prone to be very
more scared. Yeah.
scared and with anxiety.
Exactly.
We
But
have seen
Gabriel,
good. Yeah.
what about those who would say, but they appreciate what you're doing, but you are enabling people who are breaking the law? What do you say to that?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm going to add with Jolly says. We have a mix. We have people that actually is in the process to create some legally papers on the United States, but it says the other ones, they don't have none. So that create aware of them. They start working. Okay, I need to do something if I'm planning to stay here. So they start asking, okay, how can I do for my situation that I'm not just, can I start something? So that's make it aware, and they start moving something. They start doing for that. People, of course, they come to us. We try to provide the tools necessary so they can move forward
Information.
the information. So they try to start the process, the paper process for them. And also what Jolie mentioned, it was that the notarized, and there was another thing, it was a paper that the kids has to carry on the backpack if something happened with the parents. They go from back to school, or that they pick it up from school because the parents were taken away. So they have that paper in their backpack. When something happened, they can show it. Look, this is who's gonna take care of me. And yes,
so you really help. I'm sorry, Yoli, go ahead.
Yeah, we're not trying to enable actions that are not correct.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to educate people that there is steps within the process, or things that they can foresee, that they have to take care of things ahead of time, just because they know that at the end, if they have to go through the process of law, they will have to go to the process. It's so not
what I'm hearing you say is that even if they're illegal, they still have rights, and there's still people that God cared for and we have responsibility to still care for them. Is that what you're saying, in a sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
We,
but
we
you're
have to
not. But you're not against the government who's enforcing the law. You do understand that you have to enforce the law.
No,
Am I
not at
am I
all.
right?
Because
Okay.
because the Bible says that God put our leaders, and we need to
Yeah.
pray for
Yeah.
our leaders. So
Yeah.
in any
And
point,
what I like about it is this nice tension, right? The tension of government providing law and the tension of humans and social organization coming in with compassion and helping people who are in midst of um, injustice or justice,
Mhm.
but they still need care for. Is that what you?
That's
It's like visiting the prisoners,
exactly,
right?
yeah,
When we
exactly.
visit the prisoners in prison, it doesn't
that's
mean
right.
condoning what they did to get in prison,
Hmm.
but we recognize that though they're in prison, they are human beings that God cared for as well.
Exactly,
Is that correct?
exactly, exactly.
It's like Christian life. You will love the people where they
Where
are,
they are.
Yeah.
even if you're not okay or condoning the
The
behavior or
behavior.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's
This is
loving.
why I think having people like yourself who are Christians in midst of this process becomes helpful because you come at it from a very kingdom perspective. Pastor Jeff, we lost you. Anything else you want to add before
Yes.
I transition?
Yes, I'm sorry. My connection made me so many headaches. So
No worries.
So I want to start with what Yolande said. Actually, we are Christian. We don't judge people. First of all, we receive. Everybody need help. That is as calling. In the same way, I think asylum seeker, for example, is under also the law United. United receive people they need help. So I understand it's depend to the way they come in because we have some of them they just jump and come in and they don't go through the process and the responsibility for the community like my us organization is to bring them back to the process and to respect the law. And we have other one they come through the boards and they register them. That is another thing. They register them and they put them to the system. They are in DSHS, they follow different steps, they have appointment with the judge, and I cannot say for them they can put more pressure because they respect the law, even though they come like asylum seeker, but they are in the system. So
Got it.
this is another thing we need to understand. They
Got it.
cannot put them the pressure because they follow the rules.
Got it. Oh, his Wi-Fi. So now let me shift because I want to now shift to kind of the implication on business, and then I want you guys to give advice to first people who are facing the consequences, how they can deal with it. You gave some good tips there earlier, and then I also want you to give advice to the government to say, hey, here's if we were advising, if you had a meeting with Donald Trump and his administration or with the people at DHS, what would you say to them as they feel they're trying to do the right thing, but you as community citizens may have some insight that may help them. First of all, it's also important to know that you guys came here legally to America, and so did Pastor Jeff. So you guys came illegally, and you are legal, but you are sympathetic to those who face these consequences, right? I came into the United States as a student, but there was a season where I had finished my school before I got married. That I was on no status because I had, as in normally by law, when you finish school, you're supposed to go back or get a work permit. I had a work permit, but I don't even think that work permit was very legal because I had finished school, right? I had dropped out of college actually, so I sympathize, right? If this was now, I'd probably kicked out of America, right? I remember before I got married, I was talking to somebody, and then I told them, I said, Gina, we need to get married now because by that I'm not legal in status. And he said, man, he said, Patrice, you are contributing so much to America, and you have to either get married or leave. I said, yeah. he was kind of surprised. So I do understand, right? I sympathize. So I don't know how many months or weeks I was illegal, but there was a time where I think, quote unquote, don't tell ICE that I was in that situation. So, but let's talk about the impact on business. You guys are entrepreneurs, positive or negative. So how do you think this whole process impact entrepreneurs? I'm thinking about, entrepreneurs with ideas who are in the midst of doing business, and they find themselves where they not have to go run and hide, and that impact their business, whether they're legal, illegal. I'm thinking about employees of entrepreneurs. So do you have any stories or any insight as to how this has impacted business, positive or negative? Let's start with you, Yoli, and
It does
David.
impact. It does impact because sometimes, how can I say this? You will be more fearful if you own a company to get in trouble for getting people who's good at it, but has not the documentation for it, right?
Okay,
So-
let me ask you a question, though, Yoli. Let me ask you a question. But the government would say, but Yoli, you should not be employing somebody who's not legal as a business person. What'd you say to that?
You get fined. I have someone close to us who is a dentist, and he had to pay about $50,000 in
Yeah.
fees.
So you're not saying it's a good thing. You're just warning business people.
Yeah, it's complicated, Patrice. It is complicated because
complicated, yes.
you love people and you want to help, but at the same time, you're risking your neck if you cross that line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
for business owners, they should be mindful that hiring somebody who's illegal in the United States will come with a fine, because that in itself is an illegal act. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Exactly.
that is correct.
That's fair.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is correct.
Yeah, if you love so much, like I said, you have a Pedro or Juan. There's really good. You love it. You want to keep it. It is a process that you can ask for him for a work visa and all that. But yes, it's something that is risky, and it's something that we not recommend.
And you are in construction. I mean, how many has that happened to you, where you have somebody who applies or whatever that is very good, but then they're not legal and you have to say no to them? Has that been tough for you?
Exactly. Yes, it was difficult because I have some people that, yes, they don't have the required payments. And then at the beginning, they start working. They're really good. And then, okay, you started, you need the paper. Yeah, I will bring it to you. Yeah, we'll bring it to you. And then they come, and then you realize that I bring it to you is that because he don't have it. And then they had that conversation, the conversation. Look, we trust you. We love you. You're really good. But, you said you bring it. So let's bring this. And it was difficult. It is difficult.
And, Patrice, you were saying if we had a chance to sit, we need more people working where the laws are made. Because this is the thing. All the immigrants, well, I'm not going to say all, but most of the immigrants have come and contribute, working hard. And they are good at what they do, right? And it was overseen, like it was convenient. So it was not a problem before. But now
they got used. They got used.
Yeah. But honestly, a lot of immigrants have to be paid under the table in cash. So if they decided to bring to light everybody who's contributing, I'm not talking about everybody who's making trouble, but everybody who is actually contributing to the United States, it will make a big difference. Because if they have the hope that they can have a process to become legal, and then they will start paying taxes. Economically speaking, there will be a big infusion of money into the States if everybody comes under the shadows.
Now, Yoli, but what about those who said, but Yoli, we just ignore the law?
No, not ignore the law, but I think that if you can see that they have not been troubled, they have been contributing, let's say for 15 years in the States.
So character matters. Character
Exactly.
matters. Okay, got it.
See the fruit. See the fruit they're having made.
Create like a path that it will say, okay, show us that you are going to be honoring the laws of paying your taxes, being a good citizen, keep your moral standards,
Got it.
to give a chance
Okay,
to
two
prove
quick
that.
questions. We can have
Yeah.
so much about this. But two quick questions for you, Yoli and Gabriel. So, all right, I get that. So, but government will say, my God, Yoli, do you know how hard it will be for us to do that for every individual? That's one thing administratively. But then the second thing would be, all right, Yoli, what if we did that? But for how long? Because every group that comes behind them is going to want the same thing. What do you say to that?
I would say that with people that it's already here, not with people
Yeah,
who's trying to come here. There's gotta
got it.
be like a
Create
more.
a
So we got to
window.
create a line. We got to
Yes,
say. So we
yes.
got to give kind
From
of
here to here.
the word amnesty. We got to kind of give an amnesty to the good people, draw the line, and everybody else going forward, you get the hammer. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty
Maybe
much.
not the hammer. Got it.
Yeah.
Jeff, anything here
Yes.
before I transition on this thought?
No, really. You can find, like Yolan tried to explain, is a complicated situation. It's not easy
Yeah.
situation, but for me, I think the good way is to keep, like we're doing with different workshop, is to keep to educate them and to push them to the system. So that's we try to do. It's not easy, but I think it's the only thing we can doing now. And yeah.
Got it. So, what I'd like for you guys to do now is that by the way, I'm talking to Pastor Gabriel and Pastor Yoli and Pastor Jeff, who they're entrepreneurs and they're leaders in the Nehemiah community, and they're also pastors, and they deal with immigrants, and they've been and a number of the folks that deal with have had to face consequences with ICE, and we've been having this conversation about the immigration crisis because you, as members of Nehemiah, some of you guys are immigrants. Some of you guys have immigrants that work for you, or you're part of immigrants, and this dynamic. And what led for us to want to have this conversation is because I became aware that there are a number of people who are legal in the United States, who are members of our community, who are facing this fear, right? And the idea here is for us to say, okay, here's how we deal with it, and so forth, so on. So I'm going to, unfortunately, we come to the end of our time, but I do want them to give some advice. So I'm going to ask you a couple of things. Before we do, let me do this. So if you've enjoyed this podcast, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to share it. And there's so much good to talk about, right? I just want to kind of just tee up to let you guys know that, look, we at Nehemiah, we are concerned. We do hear the heart, and we want to hopefully provide if a platform for us to dialogue this and make sure that it's not something that you feel you have to kind of keep on the inside, right? Our position is that there is a law of the land that we must respect. At the same time, we must be compassionate in how we address it. At the same time, those of us of goodwill who are called to come alongside those who are hurting and need our help, right? The Bible calls us to do so, irrespective of whether they are the good citizens or the bad ones in prison, right? And all in between. And we have to do it in the context of the law. With that said, if you want to know more about Nehemiah Entrepreneur Community and how we can come alongside you as an entrepreneur to provide you with training, coaching, and community, go to our website, NehemiahEntrepreneurshipCommunity.com. I'm sorry, Nehemiah E-Community.com, NehemiahECommunity.com. You learn about our coaching program, how we can come alongside you, group coaching or one-on-one. Learn about our community. We have about over 5,500 members from Asia, Africa, Europe, Latin America, and North America who are walking together in community to build kingdom companies. You also learn about our training program, biblical entrepreneurship, serve with love, identity, destiny, and the like, right? Join a community that cares and that's committed to building kingdom companies together. So let me start with you, Pastor Jeff, just in case you're West. So I want you to advise two people. First group, there are people who are watching and listening. They're in America and they're facing this, and they're immigrants and they're afraid. What advice would you give them as to how to navigate this season?
Yeah, I think to For that people, first of all, to stay connect with the community is important, because through the community you have support, and you have also advice, and you have also updates. So these are important to know, and also resources. So we have, that is important for that first people. I know fear is anyone now, is not just for immigrant. I think that fear is in United, because we see what happened. The people die couple months ago, it was the American people. And we can feel that, because the spirit of the United is uh, is like to bring the nation, the whole nation, together and build United. So I think the only thing I can say, to stay in the community, stay connecting, and be informed about everything happen. I think that is the
And
first
can
step.
they
Yeah.
connect directly with you, Pastor Jeff, if they need some guidance? Can people connect directly with you?
Of course, of course.
Perfect.
So we, yes, of course,
Yeah, so do
we can
that.
provide,
Listen, let's
yes.
put Pastor Jeff contact out there so that people need guidance can reach out to him. And of course, if
Mhm.
you remember the community, you can also find the e-community platform. Then the second group, Pastor Jeff, is you are sitting in front of the Trump administration. The
Mm.
president is there, the department, the head of the Homeland Security is there. They're all there, and they're saying, Pastor Jeff, we've heard about you. You are a pastor, community leader. We want to address the immigration crisis. We want to do it in a way that's compassionate and reflective of the things you've talked about. What advice would you give them?
First of all, everywhere we have good people and bad people. And we have also good people, we can focus on them. We can transform and help that people to be helpful for this country. They have a good heart, and they can bring again more to this country to pull United up, if we give them the opportunity to be, to regularize that situation with the undocumented situation they have. Out the undocumented situation, they have so many gifts and power, can again add more in United. So I want to ask to give the opportunity to that right people to have access to what they need to be, to stay, and to grow, and to help this country to move on. For the people,
Wow.
they are wrong, or they can be like what they call, they have a bad background. The law is the law, so that I can say.
Pastor Jeff, thank you. Thank you for your work as a pastor, as a businessman, and as a trainer and coach. We just appreciate your partnership in the community. Pastor Gabriel and Pastor Yoli, what about you? So let's speak first to those who are afraid out there. They're immigrants in the United States, whether legal or illegal. What advice would you give them?
Well, first of all, I will start with the calling. So it's not a mistake that you're here in the United States. So it's not a
Mhm.
mistake that you're here, and God had a purpose in your life, and God always calls us to do the right thing. So it's with love, and try to guide them. And then, you know what, we need to. If you will love here, and you provide here, and you work here, so it's good to do the right thing according to what the law requires. So it's basically, again, like Pastor Jeff says, provide the sources and find and help them, and the decided. But is for the it's in the angle, like, okay, you have a calling. It's not a lucky or casualty you came here to the United States or to this community. So let's, if you want to keep walking, it's not like a requirement, but we recommend you, it's better you can do this, so it's be better for you in the future and that process.
Yeah,
Yoli.
I think that information is still vital. I concur with Pastor Jeff on being connected with the community. We have had at least 5 families who had, after seeing everything and trying to get things in order and cannot happen, so they decided to go back to their countries. voluntarily, not with any trouble with ICE or anyone. So sometimes knowledge will open up your eyes to say,
Oh, that's so good.
do I want to be here? But I know that I will be on the shadow of this, or would it be better for me to go back? I have learned a lot, I have gained a lot, and now I can go back and have a different start. So, like Gabriel was saying, and it's not to put it lightly, but it's to remind people that we are walking in this world, but we're not of this world, right?
Mhm.
Things have been said that they will get worse before they get better. And we have to know that here or back in our countries, the purpose of God in our lives will happen.
Mm.
So to rely and to pray, to have that peace, to know, where do I need to stay? Do I stay here? Do I go back? If there's no way that I can align myself and nothing is changing, where do I want to live? Because I will have to walk on the consequences of that choice as well.
Mm.
That is so good. Now, Gabriel and Yoli, you are in front of the president. His cabinets are right there, and they're asking you. They're saying, "Give us advice. How do we do this in a way that's suitable?" What advice do you give them?
Well, I was thinking, what Pastor Jeff says, it's a good that start with the people that have been proving from a long time. Like, again, you mentioned in the beginning, 80s and 90s, we don't have any issues, we don't have any problems with that situation, and then people come to work. And that's the thing, when we come to this country, our mentality as Hispanic people is we came to work. We're not playing around. We come to here and we do our duties. We do what we want to do. That's the right way. Sometimes many people risk their lives to cross the border to come here to get a better life, to give this opportunity to that. And also what we're talking earlier, create that window, that line that help that people that have been proving that is, and I remember noticing other times there have been some they give those opportunities to people to resolve that issues, the immigrant issues, and then they close it. So I think they're having kind of the right path, but redo it again for the people, and not that the ones that are coming later, like you said, put the hammer on. So just help them to understand that it's a process as well if they're gonna stay there. But I think it's just pointed out that their value on the people that are hard workers to come here and create and help this nation be a great nation because of that, and help them to resolve that issue and create those lines to giving the incentive that they can keep doing that without any pressure.
Wow, that's so good. What about you, Yoli?
Yes, I think that there should be a way where people can prove themselves that they are adding into this country and they have been loyal to this country as well. You have no idea how many professional people have come to the States, and we have to reinvent ourselves because our titles do nothing here for us. But there's a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of years of experience that can enrich this country to get it better. But yes, I think that opening paths for people that are not impossible, for them to align to the law. There's got to be more than one way to find different paths to show that you are valuable with your knowledge, with your experience, and coming clean with all your financial responsibilities as well.
Amen. Wow. Pastor Gabriel, Pastor Yoli, thank you. Thank you for what you do at your local church. Thank you for what you do as citizens and in you helping individuals navigate these difficulties, and as leaders. Thank you for your country as entrepreneurs, job creators, in helping to foster economic well-being in America. This is so good. Listen, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. And here's my advice to you. I remember when my younger sister, younger brother, when they finished high school and they were in a situation whereby their legal status had changed. And I remember calling my mother and asked my mother to get them back home to update their status. And for them, it was difficult because they were living in a country they love. For me, it was a way to ensure, as Yoli said, they don't live in the shadows. My sister went after many years, came back. My brother went after many years, came back. And they left again because they wanted to do, to work in other countries. So God is not only in America. God is everywhere. If you believe in God, then wherever you are, whether it's here or there, the sovereign will of God is with you, and he will take care of you. So first, do not live in the shadows, because that is not God's will. Live in freedom. And freedom is where you are legal. Because if you are illegal, you have no freedom. Freedom is where you are legal. Secondly, wherever you are, God is with you. Wherever you are, God is with you. God is not an American God. He's a Venezuelan God. He's a Congolese God. He's a Cameroonian God. He's an American God. He's the God of all over the world. And then if you're watching this and you are in a position of influence concerning the government, whether it's local government or federal government, remember this, that whether they're legal or illegal, these are human beings, right? And all of us have been created in the image and likeness of God. And how can you, particularly if you're a believer, how can you contribute to the hope and to the kingdom justice that God asks all of us to contribute in whatever way you can? Maybe by advising, maybe by directing, or using your position of influence to bring light. You've heard here from 4 immigrants who are now legal in the United States and who are contributing to America, right? And I think America has been a country of great comfort by immigrants. At the same time, we do have to follow the law, and there are ways to do that. And the question is, are you contributing to the right way of doing it? That's the matter of conscience, right? Because at the end of the day, we all must operate based on our conscience. And if you're doing so, then you are doing the right thing. With that said, thank you for watching and listening. And thank you to you guys for taking a difficult topic and being vulnerable and sharing honestly how you feel about it. We so appreciate it. And if you're watching and you're inspired by this, I want to encourage you to share with other people so that they might know we serve a God of the world and not a God of America. And wherever we are, God is there with us. Let me pray for you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord enable you to steward those talents wherever you are in the world that are under your care, and to steward it in such a way that one day you'll hear those wonderful words as Pastor Jeff and Pastor Gabriel and Yoli are hearing and will hear. Well done, good and faithful servant. Yes, you've been faithful with the little things. Now he'll make you rule over much. God bless you. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening.